Hey guys, so I kind of just woke up and I realized that I'm home alone right now, so I'll take the opportunity to film just because I feel like it's awkward when there are people in my house when I film. I've told you that like a bazillion times. So yeah, taking this opportunity. Let's see. Elementary school. Well, we'll start from before then. Um, when I was born in Florida. I was born in Tallahassee, Florida, and I lived there until I was 5 until we moved here in 1999, and we moved to the apartment buildings on the other end of the island, and then we started renting a house. And even before I started kindergarten, the summer before, let's see, there were two kids who lived across the street from me who wound up becoming, pretty much my best friends. One was Dominique, and she was my age. She's really small. Like, I'm a tall person, so I was kind of, tall and like big. And she was just like this little tiny girl, so I could pick her up, as long as I can remember. Her and then her next door neighbor, who was Jordan, who still lives in Alameda. Dominique moved away, but Jordan still lives in Alameda, and uh, I've kept touch with him. Like, our family are good friends, so we're kind of like, we're not best friends, but we were when we were little. And he's a year younger than me, so I don't know. He thinks I'm an awkward person. I kind of like act like his mom sometimes, which is kind of funny. Like, he got a girlfriend like a year ago, and I was like, Jordan, like, I'm gonna tell your parents and like all this stuff. So and like we're still like pretty much friends, which is something that I kind of have like, I've had friends since I was a kindergartner. So then I start kindergarten with Dominique. She was in a different class than me though, and I met a pair of twins. Their names were Thais and Alexandra, and they decided to switch classes because they had different teachers to see if they would notice, and they never did because when they were little, dude, they looked exactly the same, like, not even joking. So I met them, and I also met my friend Hannah, um, and she I remember meeting all three of them and their moms on the first day of school, and my mom. And they reminisce about that sometimes. But yeah, so now I've known them for like 11, 12 years. Isn't that's weird. It makes me feel really old. Really old. So I remember, um, let's see, kindergarten, I had Miss Vasquez with Hannah and Thais. Alexandra was in a different class. And we really made friends. Like, we had a whole bunch of different people. Uh, I remember there was a kid from the Philippines who had just come in. His name was Daryl. And he now goes to the other high school, Ensenada High School. But he couldn't speak any English. He was like, he was a fob. He literally was. And, like, I couldn't really understand it. Um, and let's see. Kindergarten, I mean, we just counted the days of school basically. Like, we had this chart that we crossed off the days of school, and it was over. We got home, or we got out at 12:30, which was awesome. Like, it was legit. So I would come home and I would watch Out of the Box, that show on Disney, and it was always on, like, right when I got home. Um, yeah, so that's kindergarten. First grade, I had the same teacher. Pretty much had the same thing. There were a couple boys. There was Dylan and Eric. Eric, who was my first crush ever, he goes to NSNL. I haven't talked to him since like seventh grade. And then Dylan, he his mom used to own horses, so I was like really excited about that, just because when I lived in Florida, we had horses too, and my mom used to train horses. Um, yeah, first grade, second grade, I had Miss Rayfield, and she was an older lady. She had short blonde curly hair, and like she was one of my favorite teachers. She was really nice. I had her for second and third. Basically, how our school was kindergarten first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. You had the same teacher. So I had Miss Rayfield, and she was like my homeroom. And then Miss Gill was this tall blonde lady who taught us math, and I loved her. She did calligraphy, and she was like, I looked up to her. And then we had Mr. Miller, who I believe is gay, but I didn't know it then, but he's gay, I think. And our principal was gay, Miss Goodwin, who wound up being the principal of a whole bunch of other schools. And yeah, so second, oh, in third grade, there's this boy who goes to my high school now. He's a senior, and his name is Eli. He's a Jew. He's Jewish. So it was getting close to Hanukkah, and his mom came in and shared latkes with us and told us about Hanukkah, since most of us are Christian. And dude, I feel so bad about it, but like, I was young and ignorant, so I go up to him and he's like, so you only get one present each night? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I get more presents than you, because, you know, Christmas you get way more than like 7 or 8 presents. And he just looks at me like, yep. And I was like, fuck. I feel so stupid. But yeah. So what else was there? 4th grade, I had Miss Bailey. 4th and 5th grade, I had Miss Bailey. She got married to, she was white, but she got married to this really big black guy. So she has an African last name now, but I can't remember. It starts with an O. And she was good. I never, like, I'd always been pretty good at academics, like, you know, the basic stuff when I was little. Like, I got the long division, and I got times tables. Like, I was proficient. Our grades back then were 3s and 4s instead of A, B, C, you know, whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got 3s and 4s. Like, I wasn't lagging behind, but my friend Dominique was. For some reason, she got held back in 3rd grade, and later on, I found out that it was because my parents had gone to the teacher and had said, like, Dominique always had this thing where she, like, shook her hands a lot. We weren't really sure what it was, but she would go, or, you know, some stuff like that. So my parents went to the teacher and said, she might have some brain damage. She might have some learning problems. And it turns out that, you know, her parents thought it was funny, but back when she was a baby, her brother hit her on the head with a hammer. And so that might be the cause. They just laughed it off back then, but she had learning disabilities because of it, or, you know, because of something. So, yeah, that was kind of shocking to me when I found out, like, in 8th grade or so. And then 4th and 5th grade kind of went smoothly. The same guy I liked, Eric, through all of elementary school. Found out that I liked him, and, you know, it was the drama and everything. And then ever since then, he was awkward around me. So, I mean, you know, I wasn't awkward around him, but I don't know what happened. Whatever. And then, of course, I wound up being taller than him in the long run. So he's, like, down here, because I'm taller than just about everyone. But no skin off my nose. There wasn't anything giant that happened. I would say, let's see, in the beginning of 5th grade, we moved from the house we used to rent to the house I live in now. And, I mean, I was sad about leaving that house, but it was kind of cool to be on this end of the island. I forgot to mention one of my friends. Okay, so she was my friend, I would say since about 2nd grade. Yeah, 2nd grade through 5th. And then she moved after 5th to Kentucky. But she was, her family was very well off. So they had, you know, they had a lot of money. She got a lot of things, a lot of material things, like toys that she wanted. Mighty Beans were the shit. I don't know if anyone's heard of those, but she had a bazillion of them. She had a whole case for them, and I had like 5. So I was kind of jealous of her. But at the same time, her family, you know, she had an older brother who was, I think he was in middle school at the time. And he graduated high school 2 years after they moved. She was just kind of, she had this dominance over me. Like, if she told me what to do, I would do it. And we were we were best friends, but she wasn't a very good friend to me. But for some reason, I kept going back to her and wanting to hang out with her. So she would like here's an example. She would like brag like my house address was 541, and that's like, 541. So her address was like 1024. So she would always brag about how her her address was bigger number than me, so she was better than me. Yeah. And I'm just like, thanks. I'm trying to be your friend, and she would always brag about how I had one dog and she had two, that kind of thing. So, oh yeah, of course, my pets. I had a dog. His name was Augie Doggy. He was a hound that we had in Florida and we brought with us. And then I would say he died in 2002, and I was pretty devastated. But then in 2004, my parents got me a rabbit, and her name was Misty, and I had her for 8 years. She died this year. No, 6 years. What am I talking about? 6 years. And she was already 2 years old when we got her, so she was 8 years old when she died. So she was kind of a lifelong friend too, I guess, if you want to call her that. And like Victoria, I wrote stories too. Definitely not good ones like that, but I had a story about a cockatoo that I had. That was, well, I didn't actually own one, but one that I wish I had. And it was black and red. And I don't even remember. That's all I remember about this story, but I like to write stories too. So, yeah, that's pretty much my elementary school story. There are a lot of details I left out, but, in an effort to keep it on the shorter side. And it's already like 13 minutes, so, my New Year's resolution would probably be to keep my room more organized, since it's always dirty as hell. Like, quite honestly, it's bad. And maybe just to try and make things easier for my parents, because they're going through tough times. So yeah, Happy New Year. Oh yeah, it's New Year's Eve. I forgot about that. I think I'm gonna be hanging out with Diane. I don't know. Let me, check the cellular. I'm trying to get into parties too. That would be nice. So yeah, everyone have a good New Year's. Welcome to 2011. This decade has been an odd one at that. The iPod and 9/11 and Obama and everything. The world is a weird place. So, see you next year, Diane. Well, no. Yeah, I'll see you next year. Tonight. Alright. Holy shit, I just realized that my dad was in the room right next to me, and this is gonna be really awkward because I thought he wasn't here. So he probably just heard that whole thing, even though it's not really personal, but awkward.